every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel, is already here, is already real.
There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside of yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me. There's just one, there's just unity.
One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray.
When the world looks darkest and your eyes can see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
Good morning, and welcome to Unity of Ventura's online Sunday service. My name is John Callahan. I'm your host today. How wonderful that you have chosen to join us this morning. What we do on Sunday mornings is so special. We come together as one in mind, in heart, and in consciousness. Our purpose in doing so is to support each other and share our hearts with each other. When we do this, magic happens. So please know that your presence and your consciousness is both appreciated and valued. Let's take a moment now to remember who we are. Unity of Ventura is a radiating center of spiritual well-being. We are the home of a most gifted and talented music team. We are also a home for a wonderful team of guest speakers who deliver the most uplifting and inspiring sermons. We're also a spiritual role model for other churches. Why? Because of our loving, inclusive fellowship, where week after week we transcend time and space to embrace one another and our community in love and peace. Our mission at Unity of Ventura is to provide a loving and accepting environment that inspires personal and spiritual growth through the practice of unity principles in our daily lives. These are the principles that have been taught by our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, for over a century. We joyfully welcome people of all upbringings, all backgrounds, all lifestyles, all faiths, all philosophies, all ways of thinking. And that's why we are all called Unity! Let's take this experience of unity and oneness to a deeper level now. as we enter into prayer. Holding in our hearts all of our dear friends who were not able to join us this morning. Take a deep breath. Oh, sweet Spirit, we take a moment to just rest in your light and your love. We align ourselves with your guidance and infinite wisdom. We deliberately set aside anything that is not serving us at this moment, focusing instead on your good and on your constant blessings in our lives at all times. We remember the law of mind action. Thoughts held in mind produce after their own kind. That which we focus on grows. Now, focused on our oneness with God and with each other, we extend a blessing to our spiritual brothers and sisters, to our community, and to the entire world. United in consciousness, we also give thanks in advance for today's lesson that inspires our spiritual growth, and for the music that uplifts us, and for the wonderful spiritual family we have, whose love, support, and prayers. For these and all our blessings, we give great thanks. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. We're going to continue now with the daily word, remembering that we join millions of readers of the daily word all over the world. The word for today comes to us from last Thursday, the 3rd of June, 2021. And that word is silence. The affirmation is, in the stillness of my soul is enfolded in peace. In the stillness, my soul is enfolded in peace. True silence is a destination, a place of deep, abiding peace and tranquility. I can reach this place by resting in the peace of God, breathing deeply and mindfully to settle my thoughts in these quiet moments. I let go of everything I've been holding on to. I release judgments, and I allow thoughts about the future to fade away. As I relax, the silence envelops me. I touch eternity in this place, where the past and future do not exist. I feel peace and calm that remain with me throughout the day. Even after my time in the silence has ended, I am grateful I can deeply enrich my life by taking regular time to replenish myself by resting in the silence. Today's word was inspired by the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6, verse 31. As it reads, "He said to them, 'Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while.' For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat." The word for today is silence. The affirmation for today is, "In the stillness, my soul is enfolded in peace." So it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Nothing is ever lost, and we we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God.
Morning sun coming through the trees, the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze, the songbirds singing to the honeybees, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. After the dazzle of day is done, the moon makes love to the setting sun. The stars come twinkling one by one, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We sleep in dreams, both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the spirit's delight, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten.
Let us continue now with our statement of truth. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Let's all say it together. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Let's prepare now for a time of quiet contemplation. Finding a comfortable position, open your hearts to my words and let them be your own. I have found that when people make an effort to expand their contemplative time, their spirituality usually wakes up. After all, we each have an inner creator who wants to connect with the great creator of our universe. In the silence, in the quietness, we can truly reach a state in which we have less and less stress, less tension, or fewer problems that pervade our lives. Relax and release. Relax and release. Allow the energy inside of you to awaken. Feel the love. It's pervasive. Feel the peace and contentment. It is everywhere. Starting today, be open to the realities of life, the events that take place between your birth and death. No matter how exciting or challenging or creative, know that they are the stuff of growth. To comfortably handle this flow, take time each day to sit in silence with an open mind and heart. Resist not the graces of heaven. You are loved by the Father and the Spirit Mother. If I am courageous, if I step forward into the dance floor of life, my work will be seen in the light and life of the divine. Whatever I do at its core will be the goodness and usefulness of God's grace. Be patient. Take the time to wonder, to dream, to let the magic of the divine muse find you in the silence. Then let love and wisdom work with each other as it does within us all. Just for a moment, pause in the presence of God. Know that you are loved and guided and supported. Oh, sweet Spirit, thank you for this gift of resting in your presence, for your peace and comfort. Taking a big breath, it's time now to return our awareness back to this time and place, feeling refreshed and revitalized and in tune with life. We affirm, so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And now, we are so pleased to welcome Reverend Marlene Morris to our virtual pulpit. Reverend Marlene is a consummate New Thought minister with deep roots in metaphysical training. She provides lessons that are insightful, inspiring, and relevant to living a life guided by enduring principles. She always leaves the congregation with spiritual nuggets that we can think about and absorb for days and weeks after one of her lessons. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Marlene Morris.
Good morning. It's good to be with you. I was watching the lunar eclipse in the morning last week, or whatever you call 4:11 a.m. It seemed more like the middle of the night than morning. Still, I couldn't help but be awed by the spectacle of the moon disappearing, if only for a few moments, and then reappearing in all of its bright, shining glory. The very fact that we, our little planet, stood between the sun and the moon and cast a shadow that made the moon appear to disappear somehow just made it an awe-filled moment. And of course, that had me thinking about the power of casting a shadow and And as I watched the moon disappear for a split second, my mind traveled back to the ages past, when an earlier humanity would see a similar eclipse and wonder if perhaps the world was coming to an end, or if the gods were angry and going to take away their nightlight. In those times, there was no real understanding that it was we who were casting the shadow, and that without the light from the sun in back of us, there could be no shadow. God was not angry. The light was not going away. Life would go on. The darkness was only an illusion, created by something standing between the light and the object of our attention. We've been there. Still, there was fear. The unknown will do that to us, won't it? Anyway, so there I was in the wee small hours, watching a millennium-old process, and I couldn't help but think about the awesomeness of the universe. Everything that is created, everything that is not created, everything that exists, everything that has existed, and everything that will exist. What I'd like you to consider today is that this everything is calling you. Even now, as you sit or stand or lay where you are, the universe is calling you. I know it is. Incidentally, and you probably already know this, The Universe is Calling is also the title of a book written in 1993 by Eric Butterworth, same year that he wrote Spiritual Economics. Talk about being on a roll. Whew. Anyway, The Universe is Calling is a book in which Butterworth, who was a Unity minister, defines meditation as the central element in prayer that puts us in alignment with the divine. Who wouldn't want that? Ideally, he writes, in prayer and meditation, we are focused in mind and resting in the divine flow that rushes and streams into us from the supportive universe all around. Now, in an effort to be completely transparent, I have to tell you that as I was making notes for today's talk, I came across some wonderful writing about the universe. The writing had no attribution, so I have no idea who to give credit, although some of it sounds a great deal like Butterworth, and then again, some of it sounds like me, but I don't know for sure how much. So I just like to take this opportunity to thank whatever angel put some of these thoughts in my path. And I do want to acknowledge that the next thought was not originally mine, I don't think. The note said, the poets have said that universe means one song. Grammatically, that is not correct. Uni does mean one, but verse comes from the Greek vertere, meaning to turn. So a more accurate definition of universe might be to turn together. That sounds like Butterworth. Is that possible, do you think, given the current state of the world? Can we turn together from our fears for ourselves, from our fears for our families, from our fears for our world, from our divisions and derisions? Can we turn together to a new and determined faith in the future? In our families' futures, in our world's future. We have a choice. We can move into that silence that John so eloquently spoke about in the meditation. We can pray. I'm not being flippant. Prayer has immense power. Butterworth says, prayer is not something that you do to God or say to God, or a performance you put on for God, but rather In that perfect silence, a time in which you allow God, the universe, to do something through you. And that something can change you and change your world. It's been an interesting month or so, don't you think? Don't they all seem to be interesting lately? Interesting in that sense of the purported old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. This month alone, the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's death, the 100-year anniversary of the burning of Black Wall Street, a complete lunar eclipse. Some senators compared the January 6th insurrection to an average tourist day in D.C. In the United States, the lowest numbers of COVID cases have been reported since the pandemic began, while India continues its devastating fight against the disease. More mass shootings, 2 of them in California. More attacks on Asian Americans. And much to the surprise of anyone who lived through the 60s, Bob Dylan turned 80. There was more, of course. But I don't have an unlimited amount of time with you, so I'll move on. Whatever faith you claim, these interesting times have a tendency to create doubt, to create fear about our own security and the safety and security of those that we love. And we are too often left feeling, helpless and unable to create a change that we know is desperately needed. But we don't have to feel helpless. We are capable of creating great change. And I believe the universe is calling us to do just that. I'm not suggesting that we all march on the state capitol or Washington. That's been done. And the last time it didn't turn out so well. What I am suggesting is that we move into the silence and pray. Or meditate, if you will. And listen. Really listen. Listen to hear what the calling universe is saying. Listen to learn and to know. And perhaps even to do what is revealed. To create a more perfect life and a more perfect world. This thing that is calling is everything. It's your life. It's life itself. And it is your highest self, your inner wisdom, calling you out of your sleep or your fear to rise up and to respond. So, how do we access it? Well, that's what John was talking about. In prayer, go within to the silence. What Butterworth calls the still point of your oneness with God. And listen. For the universe is calling. In the secret awareness that the whole universe is present where you are, project the life and the energy and the substance of what your dream is. As you pray from this consciousness, and Butterworth says the universe will rush and pour and stream into you in fulfillment of your dreams. Butterworth quotes Teilhard de Chardin in The Divine Milieu by saying that we come to a place where there is no one to bow down to and worship, not even within ourselves. And as we get a greater perception of our relation to the universe, there is no one to pray to. only a universal flow to get into, a spiritual energy to pray from. And the role of the prayer is the projection by our words and feelings of this divine flow, this powerful spiritual energy that goes forth to accomplish that for which it is sent. So, I know some of you must be thinking, how do I know if the universe is calling me specifically? Or if I am simply wishful or delusionary? Well, look for signs. I have my own favorite story about asking for a sign and getting an immediate response. It was at a low point in my life, and I was sitting at my desk, and I literally looked up to the ceiling, because that's as far as I could look up, and I said, God, I don't know what to do. Tell me. A sign would help, a little note floating down from the ceiling and landing right here in front of me on my desk that says, do this, and I'll do it. Within 10 seconds, the phone rang. And it was my former husband, who is a great friend, saying, I don't know why I'm calling right now, except that I just got this insane urge to call you and tell you to go become a minister. I couldn't speak. I could barely breathe. It was better than a note floating down from the ceiling. I've never forgotten it. I never will. But I was also reading a great article by Borbala at Follow Your Own Rhythm on ways in which the universe speaks to us. And I wanted to pass parts of her list along to those of you who may be wondering where to look for your note. Signs, of course, come through other people, just as mine did. A random person who says something or does something that sparks some inside of you and triggers a knowing that you can no longer avoid. Signs come in numbers sometimes. 11, 11, 2, 22, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock. They can all have hidden meanings. And if that's how the message is going to come to you, you will know it. Songs. Have you ever turned on the radio and a random song pops up? Pay attention to the lyrics. Sometimes the sign comes as a physical sign. Think billboards and passing buses. If you see a road sign that says slow down and for some reason it really clicks with you, that may be a sign that you need to slow down in life and be more persistent. My car talks to me. I was coming back from a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and I was tired. It had been a long day, and it was a great distance. It was a 3-hour drive to the wedding. And I went up early and had lunch with a friend and then went to the wedding and then got in the car and started the drive home. And I was in that stretch, some of you will recognize, between Santa Maria and Buellton, with every intention in the world of stopping in Buellton and getting myself something to drink and take a break and stretch my legs. And all of a sudden the car was flashing a sign at me. And it said, driver attention is low, take a break. I didn't even know my car could do that. So I tried to reason with my car. I said, look, I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere and I don't want to just pull over to the side of the road because I'm going to Buellton. I even told it where I was going. I'm going to Buellton. It's only about 3 more miles. I'll be fine. And I was more awake, definitely. But I found that as I was approaching Buellton, the sign was, back, driver attention is low, take a break. And this time it was in brighter colors. I kid you not, my car spoke to me. Luckily, I was right where I needed to be and ready to turn off, so my car never had to talk to me again for the rest of the trip home. But it was a sign. Your dreams talk to you and leave you signs. Symbols from nature can be signs. A deep feeling or a knowing. When you feel this is right. Or something is off. There's a sign from the universe. Pay attention. So maybe your technology is speaking to you. You know, if your internet goes out or there's no service or Wi-Fi or your text message doesn't want to send or your computer shuts off. Mine does that periodically. These could all be signs that can be interpreted in different ways. You'll know if they have meaning for you. Your body speaks to you all the time. Physical pain, symptoms, ailments, diseases, they're all ways that the universe communicates with you, that there is something off. Pay attention. Setbacks, roadblocks, detours, delays. When your flight gets canceled, your interview gets canceled, you get sick, life may be trying to tell you to go in a different direction. Sometimes when it feels like everything is falling apart, it's a great sign from the universe to rethink and reevaluate what you are doing or about to do. Maybe it's time to start fresh. And the universe absolutely calls you during meditation and prayer. When you're in that state of presence and you go within and connect with your higher self, great wisdom gets unlocked. And that opens the floodgates for spirit to communicate with you so that you can receive signs, guidance, and answers. Here's something to know. It's not complicated. The universe expresses its intelligence in the greatest simplicity. You want a sign? Ask for a sign. You'll get a sign. It's only our minds that want to know the why, the what, the how. Trust your spirit. There is a divine order within you. Trust that. And don't forget who you are. You are the divine expressing. So really, all these messages are you guiding yourself to where you're supposed to be. No, the world is not ideal, sadly. But we are dealing with a creative process that just needs a channel. Not a ritual or a well-formulated pattern. The words are not going to make things happen. The point is, the divine process is already within you. And you can't do it wrong if you know you can do it. In the music that Smitty and Julia have created to follow this talk, there's this admonition. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. The call of the universe is the call to come up higher, to take charge of your life, to pray truth into that crack, and thereby release the imprisoned splendor. Wordsworth wrote, "It is a sense sublime of something far more deeply infused, whose dwelling is the light of setting suns, and the round ocean, and the living air, and the blue sky, and the mind of man. a motion and a spirit that impels all thinking things, all objects of thought, and rolls through all things. That nudge you felt, that urge, that sense of urgency, you need only to know, really know, that it's the universe calling. You need only listen, accept, and be. And know that wherever you are called to go, you go with God. When in fact you can go no other way. You are blessed.
The birds they sang at the break of day. Start again, I heard them say. Don't dwell on what has passed away, or what is yet to be. The wars they will be fought again. The holy dove, she will be caught again. Bought and sold and then bought again. The dove is never free. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
We asked for signs, the signs were sent. The birth betrayed, the marriage spent. Oh, the widowhood of every government. Signs for all to see. They've summoned up a thundercloud, and they're gonna hear from me. Yes, they're gonna hear from me.
Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything.
That's how the light gets in.
You can add up the parts, but you won't have the sum.
You can strike up the march. There is no drum. Every heart to love will come, but like a refugee. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything.
That's how the light gets gets in.
That's how the light gets in. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything.
That's how the light gets in.
That's how the light gets in. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering.
OMG! We have 2 stars shining in the Unity musical galaxy. What an amazing performance by them. Ooh. Thank you, Smitty and Julia, and the Unity band and all the people that you work with for your ongoing genius. We are so blessed to have such talented musicians at our church. Thank you so much. And Reverend Marlene, thank you for this wonderful reminder of how to bring more spiritual awareness into our lives. Your stories and your metaphors are so inspiring. As we all go about our daily acts of living this coming week, I know that we will have magic words that you have given us, and we're going to pass them on to our friends and loved ones. And we have creative work to do and ideas that must be explored. I know that everyone who watched this sermon will continue to be inspired. Once again, Marlene Morris, thank you, thank you. This is the time in our service where we offer our gifts to the place where we are spiritually nurtured, Unity of Ventura. When you practice the spiritual principle of giving to the place that uplifts and spiritually nourishes you, you then jumpstart the principles of divine circulation, allowing your highest good to appear faster and easier. And it's by supporting the place where you are spiritually fed, the Unity message keeps going, offering hope and spiritual sustenance to others. Now, you can give your donation in a variety of ways. First, you can go to our website, and that is www.unityofventura.org. I think it's on the screen, right? Yeah, there it is. And clicking on that big orange donate button once you get to the website. Second option is you could drop a check or a money order in the mail. And third, you can use your bank bill pay service. Whatever method you choose and whatever amounts you feel guided to give, we all are so grateful for your support. So, let's take a moment to turn inward. Find that place inside you where God indwells you, where you and God are one. As you rest in that wonderful indwelling presence, it's from that sacred place that I invite you to consider the following. I give willingly, joyfully, lovingly. And that statement resonates within you. Please hold your gift in your hand and in your heart as we bless it with our offering blessing. I'm going to say it once and then ask you to repeat it with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I receive. Okay? Now, let's say that together again. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I receive. Sweet Spirit, we take this moment to acknowledge and bless these gifts offered today that have been given so willingly, so joyfully, so lovingly. We affirm that these gifts are used to further the will and the work of God through this ministry. We acknowledge, thank, and bless each giver, knowing they have been open and receptive to divine guidance, and that they have given to us from a place of loving kindness and generosity. We know, dear God, that you are richly blessing each giver in magnificent and wondrous ways for sharing of their prosperity. And so it is. Amen. As we begin to close our service today, we extend great thanks once again to Reverend Marlene for her lesson, to the Unity Music Team for their ongoing musical inspiration, to the technical genius and fortitude of Smitty West for all the behind-the-scenes magic he does in bringing these services to you week after week. We especially thank each of you for being with us in mind and heart. It wouldn't be Unity of Ventura without you. Before we go, I've got just a couple of reminders. First, we extend a sincere invitation to those of you on Zoom to please stay online a bit longer after the service is over, because we are going to open up our spiritual salon. It's a wonderful time of fellowship and sharing and support and laughter. Give yourself the gift of community and please join us. Finally, if you are in need of or interested in receiving prayer support from our prayer ministers, please reach out. It is their mission to be of service to you. If you or someone you know are going through something, don't do it alone. You can call or email the church office, and the entire team will hold the high watch for you in our prayers. So now we're going to conclude our service by singing the peace song and saying the prayer for protection, and by inviting each of you to join us again next week. Till then, thank you and God bless.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous love. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.